All right, welcome back to another episode of the Collecting the Precious podcast. I am LSR. We are back with more special guests this time. Of course, I have the brains of the operation, as I say all the time. We have Jim back, MadEyeGamgee. Ben is back. You've seen him before, and we have a new guest, and we're glad to have him. I'll let him introduce himself, so that way you all know. Ryan, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Ryan Caluette. Go by the CyberHobbit, if you may have seen my YouTube channel before. And glad to be here. Glad to see you guys.
Well, we're glad to have you. I people need to watch his YouTube channel. It's very well done. The videos are very, very well done.
Thank you.
I wish I had the time, the effort, and the skill to do the videos that he does, because his videos are very, very well done. I mean, I'm not for those watching, I'm not sitting here trying to blow smoke. They are very well done. I wish I could do videos that well. We're here to talk about Comic-Con 2023. Gonna be a little different Comic-Con in some ways, because we know now going into it, like if you watched last year's episode, we kind of talked with Daniel and stuff before Comic-Con. Still was kind of up in the air whether or not Weta was going to go. They kind of just decided not to last minute. Sideshow was still there. You still had it was still kind of somewhat normal, just with Weta not being there. This year, it's more of a who is not going to be there versus who is going to be there. We know Sideshow's not going to be there this year to show off any of the stuff that they have. Now, granted, they don't have a ton of Lord of the Rings stuff, but they do distribute some stuff. Prime One, Iron Studios, Osmus, they do those. So they're not going to be there. That's a big floor space gone. Weta's announced just recently they're not going to be there, but they are going to be there, but they're not going to be there. If you follow their newsletter, if you're not subscribed to that, for those of you out there, they're not going to have a booth, but there is going to be a panel. I know Richard Taylor is going to be on it. It sounds like maybe Daniel Falconer is going to be there for that. So we may have Jib Brophy is going to be moderating the panel, which is wonderful. Him and I share a birthday for just a information that's out there, because nobody will care about Jeopardy if you need it. So that we'll have a bit of that. I'm assuming they'll talk about collectibles during that panel. There's going to be some. They've said there's going to be collectibles at some of the booths. I'm assuming it's either going to be their exclusive, which I think Justin talked a little bit about on Torn Tuesday and mentioned, for those of you that watched that we're going to be doing some stuff with them on that. I think I think Diamond Select or somebody like that maybe also having some at their booth, something like that. So there's a chance to still get their exclusive in person. I don't know whether or not they're going to have any of their reveals and they're in person. I guess probably not, because otherwise you might as well just show up, I guess. But that's always a hope that they will. So that's kind of where Comic-Con is at from that. Then, of course, you have the writer strike going on. That's got Marvel and all those guys dropping out. And the actors apparently are about to go on strike. So that could really mess Comic-Con up in general. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting Comic-Con in-person experience. But as far as collectibles, I thought we just kind of sit here and speculate on what we want to see, what we hope to see. I even have a few pictures of some things that have come out that probably will be there, either in person if you're Diamond Select, or have been pre-ordered recently by our friends at Weta Workshop. So I will leave it to the floor. What do we want to talk about first? You gonna make me pick?
Really? I'll take the floor if you want.
There we go.
One of the biggest things that I want, I'm assuming there's going to be a new Master Selection piece.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's on my mind too.
It's going to follow, I assume, Frodo, like usual. Obviously, it's going to be something from the Return of the King.
Yep.
I want what I'm hoping for, what I would love to have.
Yeah.
You bow to no one. The whole scene.
Okay.
I think that's a good second possibility. I think that the master collectible is going to be the Cracks of Doom.
Okay, when you guess Cracks of Doom,
Yes.
specifically like the sequence walking up into the mountain, or on the actual like little walking piece there that inside of Mount Doom. That
I think it's inside of Mount Doom.
Okay.
I think it's what could argue against it would be another Frodo, Sam, Gollum piece like we've had with the Dead Marshes.
Okay.
But that is such an iconic scene where you've got, I don't know, Gollum attacking Sam, Frodo hanging the ring over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of light possibilities. It's a scene that we haven't seen Weta do before. I like the idea of you bow to no one, but the crowd is so huge. I don't know how you select, but
I have no idea how they would do it. But again, they did the Dead Marshes, so apparently they can do anything, right?
Yeah.
Ben,
But,
you have
I mean, I'm still going with. I hope that Shelob
okay.
and Frodo and Sam.
Well,
that would be an amazing piece, but I think it's probably closer to what Jim said. I think they've been following them since the beginning, and the finale only makes sense to be the actual, finale of the ring.
Well, I think that that's always the best place to start with this. I mean, we kind of nailed it last year when we were talking to Jim, or not to Jim, to Daniel. That we kind of nailed the Dead Marshes, although in a completely different way than what I thought they were going to do. I will say, I guess I can say this without leading too much into. I have been told, and I don't know if it's changed. I have been told what this year's is. So it unless it's changed, I won't say who told me or anything like it, because I'm not getting anybody in trouble or losing any sources. At least I'm smarter than I used to be with kind of teasing stuff. So I do know what unless it's changed, I do know what it is. I think the pattern should probably stand out to everybody as far as what we've seen over these anniversary ones. So I think that's probably as far as I will go. But it was definitely it definitely caught me by surprise, because I'm very curious to see how they're going to pull this off, because of the things that are required character wise. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna do this to create. And after seeing the Dead Marshes, I have little doubt that they'll be able to make it look very cool. But it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what folks think when they see it. Assuming, again, I'm making sure this is out here, so anybody watches come back and goes, "Ha, he was wrong." I'm just telling you, I based on what I was told a long time ago, I know what it is, but I reserve the right to be dead wrong, which is why I'm not gonna make a guess or say anything. But yeah, I think it's gonna be impressive. I definitely think people are gonna like it if it stayed the same. Like any of the Master Collection pieces, it's gonna cost a good chunk. I would say if you like those two characters and it follows the same theme, you probably are going to be purchasing those. Could be somebody on this screen who likes a certain character.
Are you saying that Sam is in it? That's my question.
Yeah, if you follow the pattern, I think it's safe to. Yeah. No, I think it's going to be. I'm very curious, and it just, for me personally, I won't be getting it just because, one, I don't have the others to complete the deal, but they cost a lot of money, and as is always the debate with collectibles, and we'll talk about Gil Galad here in a minute, and I'll probably sound a bit hypocritical in how I say it. To me personally, I can't swing that when it's not something that fits my collection and the size that it's going to take up and that kind of stuff. So,
well, but you introduced an interesting theme there, because even with Gil-galad, you've got the completists among us would say, well, I've got the Sauron and I've got the Elendil. I need to have the Gil-galad to complete the set. Or similar to me, well, I've got the Get Off the Road and I've got the Dead Marshes, so I need to complete the set, right? So it almost is whatever it costs. I guess I got to buy it, unless it's ridiculous. But you get into that dilemma.
I am.
They know that too.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm curious, and honestly, for me personally, the two things I'm very curious to see is the reaction of people. Again, I'll preface it. Assuming what I was told a long time ago has held, what people think of it, one, from a design, and two, I'm curious to see, just for my own giggles, what is the price of it?
Yeah.
Because if it holds with what I was told, I can't imagine what was the Dead Marshes?
2,500.
25.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it being cheaper, any cheaper than that. I literally would be my starting. If someone was to say, force me to guess a range, that would be the minimum I would start at.
Again, it depends. If Ryan's right and it's the You Bow to No One, well, then it's a bunch of choices around. Well, how big a crowd do we put into that thing? Is it
right?
just
And then are you?
Or if it's the Eagles rescuing Sam and Frodo post the apocalypse of the destruction of the ring, well, then you got Eagles and you got a couple characters. Or if you've got the Cracks of Doom, then you've got kind of three characters, probably a vertical arrangement and a lot of lights. I got to assume that there's going to be lighting on this thing, because
I would assume so. Now that, I'll be honest, that I don't know. That I wasn't told. I would think probably, if nothing else, kind of like they did with Sauron, like where the little bit, the light you can, they do create where you have the lava make, do something maybe, if it's, that kind of thing. But, assuming they do like like you're guessing, I would think there'd have to be light. If it's, if Ryan's guess is right and it's You Bow to No One, there's obviously no need for lights. Actually, the part for me that would be the most tempting is that now you're including Aragorn as Elisar in that armor, and I love Aragorn. He's my favorite character.
Yeah, that's actually what I would really hope that they nail. Just need a nice 1/6 scale Aragorn in that getup.
Yeah. I mean, I have the original Sideshow Weta one, and I love it. That was the first statue I ever actually purchased.
Yeah.
But I would love, it's one of those statues I would like.
Black Gates, Mouth of Sauron, Aragorn. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I definitely would like that. Ben, what are you thinking as far as like any of those choices or guesses by Ryan or Jim that, if it wasn't your Shelob guess, do they?
I really think Jim's on the money. I think it's going to be something, at near the end of the ring. So Crack of Doom, possibly with the Eagles, possibly inside the volcano. I mean, I don't know that, but it kind of makes sense in their theme of moving the ring from the Shire all the way to Mount Doom.
Right.
That it would be something near the very end. But I don't know. I just really want to see Shelob done again. It's hard for me to give up on it.
I would love to get a Shelob piece. My big issue is like I have arachnophobia. So a 1/6 scale spider is going to be like a big tarantula type thing.
Oh, but you could do it. They could do it with, as she was like
spider, like
she was, retracting back into the mountain. You could just do her face.
You're talking, yeah, okay.
That would be fine, I think.
And then you could have
the idea of just a giant kind of spider. I couldn't.
I don't know. I think they could do such a interesting piece like that.
It would definitely be really cool. I mean, I have to do it.
Well, Shelob's another one of those characters I would like to see a piece done, because I have one, but it's one I got from somebody. Kind of has gotten beat up because I had to put it away in a space when we had some issues in our basement and everything, so it got kind of dinged up. And so now I would love a newer Shelob that's using some of the technologies that they're using now to do that, because as you can see, the piece that Jim has, loved it. It's a great representation of what we saw on screen. But I would, as Jim hopefully does not drop Shelob.
Yeah, indeed. And I even added the little
Eagle Moss,
the Iron Sam with his sword and
nice
file
scale. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yep.
So besides, let's on the Master Collection front, before I move to my next thought, is there a price? Let's say it's not Shelob. Let's say it's Crack-It, the Crack-A-Doom sequence or something like that. Is there a price that you guys feel comfortable paying with where they're at? If the last one was 25, and now we're doing the Crack-A-Doom, it may include some lighting, things like that. Is there a price where you think it's going to fall and that you're comfortable with?
Probably the same as Dead Marshes. I don't think I could go any higher than that, honestly.
Yeah. Comparable to the Dead Marshes sounds right.
The Dead Marshes, it seems like it was a little bit higher just because of how many pieces they had to like. There's a lot more than just making a statue. There's making a statue and then designing a box that you have to ship it in. There's like thinking out how everything intertwines, how it's not going to break. So I feel like the Dead Marshes was more expensive for those particular reasons. And hopefully, if it's the inside of Mount Doom and there's the walkway, I guess, and then like if it's just a rock with like some people standing on them, maybe that's not as difficult to do. So it's got to be that or less, my guess.
Okay.
But then again, they have maybe lately seemed to have been testing the waters with pricing, so maybe it could be higher.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always hopeful that it's less, but that's a pipe dream. But
well, and the other thing is, it's the last of the 20th anniversary pieces, and so it's kind of a pull out all the stops and maybe charge a bit more for it, kind of a deal. So we'll see.
Well, it's definitely, I think, the last of the 20th anniversary Master Collection pieces. I think they've got a few 20th anniversary pieces that, because of the truncated schedule that, because of COVID and everything, pushed everything.
How long are they supposed to keep going with the Masters Collection?
I assume.
Any idea on that? Like,
never heard that they're ever going to just stop. I think it is because it started with Gollum, with the Gollum piece,
beautiful piece,
and then Treebeard,
and then it's followed Frodo.
The card.
I would assume, and I don't know, and I'll say this for the record, I have no idea, like what's afterwards, obviously. But I assume it'll keep going. But this time they'll go back to like how they did it with the first two pieces, and it could literally be anything. I do think they have purposely followed a theme for the anniversary pieces, and in following Frodo and the ring across basically, across Middle Earth. So I do think that there's been a theme. I think they'll have more freedom to potentially, after this is over.
Yeah, so the one before the series was Thranduil on his throne, so they went to the Hobbit side,
right?
And went very large with that piece.
Yeah, I mean it's basically a Master Collection piece. Yeah, I mean, I think that they have a chance to actually have more freedom after this is over with. But I've not heard that it's going to be like done. I think it's more about how it sells. Is it coming back in stock? That's right, Thranduil, the throne. I forgot the Thranduil on throne, not the horse. Yeah. I would expect it to keep going. I really would. I mean, especially if they sell well enough. But like anything from any of these collectibles companies, sometimes things just stop and we never really know why. What about, so Master Collection, we know we want to continue to see maybe some of those awesome guesses. What about from the premium piece? Obviously they have their different tiers. They have Master Collection, they have the premium statues, You've got just the regular 6 scale stuff. You've got the classic series. What are you guys wanting to see from their? Because we know they're probably going to have a premium statue, at least one. That seems to be kind of the theme: one master collection, one premium, maybe a couple regulars, and a classic series. What do you guys want to see premium statue wise from that particular subline? Is there any character that hasn't been done that you guys are looking to see?
You know my answer to that question.
More Samwise, I know.
Or Sam. I want to see Sam. But yeah.
I would hope we get to see King Theoden on Snowman.
That
That would be good.
that would probably.
Is he on Snowman or under Snowman? Is the question.
We'll say on.
We want on.
Okay.
One of my least favorite choices from the Sideshow Weta line were the people dying, like the Haradrim soldier.
Yep.
Like, can we have people that are not like dying? It's kind of sad. Like, hey, here's my awesome collection. One person died. I mean, it's just weird. Yeah, Theoden on Snowman would be my choice. I think I've got 540 Weta dollars. I'm saving that, and like if that's what the piece is, that's what I'm throwing mine on. So
well, yeah. What about Dernhelm and Mary on whatever it is that she's writing?
Ooh,
yeah, that would be cool too.
That's an interesting choice. I could actually see, talking about other choices for master collection statues down the road. Yeah. I could actually see that being a master collection piece. You've got Eowyn as Dernhelm. You've got Mary in there. You could have a Witch King.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one.
You could have the head of the fell beast on the ground. That would make for an interesting master collection. And I'm not like that's the kind of one for me that I might jump in and say that covers a lot of bases all at once for me. So that's one of those that I would have to consider kicking around and doing. Obviously,
sure. I mean, there are a lot of those kinds of scenes. So you can see, Gandalf the White revealed with the three runners. Yeah, there's an iconic scene. And there's so many of those iconic scenes that you could.
Well, this is why the line really realistically could go on. The entire the Polystone statue line in general, all subcategories could go on for a long time. I mean, there's just so many really great scenes and stuff that give people who missed like Aragorn at Hemon Hin to, if they don't like the classic series version, to get another Aragorn down the road or whatever, because there's just so many really cool scenes. Are we all in agreement that we think maybe that Theoden on Snowman is probably the leading candidate for the premium piece?
Yeah, I mean, another thing I was thinking of that might be nice, and I think they've done a Homa kill before, but I would love to see Eomer holding a spear against Homa kill. I don't know how. Maybe they'd have to make him really.
You're gonna make me go to my top shelf to get that Homa kill out of there.
Yeah, the Homa kill definitely is one of those characters that needs to get redone alive.
Right.
Because
really big
of how cool the beast is. I love that Eomer. That piece is just amazing. I don't know that we'll get another Eomer on horse anytime soon, but yes, I think if you do a Muma kill, especially depending on what you do with it pose wise and kind of what you think might be going around, you almost have to do another Eomer at some point, I think. So a Muma kill would be cool. That's definitely a good choice for.
I'm not really sure if it's a part of the premium line, but they've done Helm's Deep. I'm assuming there's going to be another big environment coming, so maybe the Black Gates.
The Black Gates is my guess for the environment that we'll see at Comic-Con or their stuff. Assuming they announce one. Yes, I would assume the Black Gates is probably the most likely candidate, and that's definitely one that I would get. I think the Muma kill, is a good choice for a premium because they've done. That new Balrog that they did several years ago would now be categorized as a premium. The Cave Troll that they did was categorized as a premium piece. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, Ben. I think you've got the War Troll from the Hobbit films. That was a premium piece, wasn't it?
That was before they deciphered them as.
Oh, okay. But you think it would probably be?
Yeah, I would. I mean, it was $1,000 at the time. It was pretty pricey.
So that's I no, I don't think you're off on that at all, Ryan. I think you're on the right track to think that if they do a Mumakil, it would have to be part of the premium line. Otherwise, you're going to do it like they did with the Fell Beast and the Balrog, where you do
a little mini one.
You're either going to do it big and do it. I hate to say do it right, or you're going to do it little mini statue, charge $200 for it, and it's still going to be a pretty good sized piece, even at that size. But hopefully they do a premium Mumakil. That would be cool at some point. I'm still rooting for Theoden because I really want Theoden. And I've told them, that's one of those things I've told them at Comic-Con before. I'm like, really need Theoden on Snowmane. And they covered one of my asks was that, we have a rider line and we don't have any people from, the Rohirrim from Rohan that ride horses on any of these. So they fixed that with Aomer. But classic series, I don't know how much you guys necessarily delve into the classic series. I've got a few now with Aragorn, and
I love them. I think they need to continue on with every character. Like I honestly would take any character. It'd be great to get a Sam. I know that you're probably a big fan of it, Jim, but I they've done Frodo, so why not Sam, right? Obviously it's gonna come.
Yeah, I like the classic series a lot.
Legolas or Gimli obviously are great choices. I don't know if I forget where I heard this, but is the idea of the next Legolas and Gimli to also be, I guess, to go with Aragorn? Like, is that the idea? Like using the same environment, like the
classic series Aragorn, like the 300s piece. Oh, that's now that you say that, I do think I heard that rumor. That they would obviously be separate statues this time,
but you could
but they would be meant to be
together. They would look like,
that's interesting. I like that. Then is there a classic series character that you would like to see done, maybe that might surprise people at Comic-Con?
I'd like to see Denethor, but I doubt that's coming. I don't know. I mean, I love all the classic series, honestly. I mean, one of my favorite, I would say my favorite 1/6 scale Gandalf is the Gandalf the Pilgrim classic series piece.
I got to go back and grab that at some point.
It is so well done. And it's just a great piece. And they adding the element of the landscape into the bases. They do really good work with the classic series. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, there's so many they can do, and I don't know if they'll stick with the theme of the Return of the King. I mean, that new mini or that new, the new mini that came with is a Balrog,
right?
So it seems like they're trying to get some stuff in the lower price point right now that maybe is stuff that didn't get, there was too much coming out during the Fellowship of the Ring anniversary.
Ben, Jim, geez, I'm messing names up all over the place tonight, apparently. Good Lord. Besides Sam at a classic series, which would be kind of more affordable than some of your recent Sam purchases, obviously the Master Collection line.
Yep.
Is there a classic series character that you would want to purchase besides Sam?
Besides Sam, let's see. Part of it is my space constraints.
Yes.
So that influences the aggressiveness of my acquisition. So there's always room for a Sam. If I had to think of, I wish there was a Rosie somewhere out there to go with my Sam, but so that's a separate issue. I'd love it. And again, this is where you get into the book versus the movie. We don't have Bombadil, and I'd love a Bombadil, but we don't really have. Weta did a concept picture, and they put it on the Decipher cards of their Bombadil, but it's not really, I guess, canon as far as collectibles are concerned. But I don't know. A Council of Elrond would be cool.
Oh, yeah, that would be. That would actually make for a cool Master Collections. I like the classic series. I've started picking up a few more of them. That Lurtz,
Yeah.
I really liked, because honestly, that was probably the post I wanted more than the pulling back the bow. So I
Right.
picked that up. I've got Gandalf the White. I need to go back and get Gandalf the Gray at some point. I have the Galadriel from The Hobbit, because that was, as we've talked about, I think even before on the show. I love that sequence when she turns around, and how that sequence worked in The Hobbit. So I have a few of the classic series.
Sure.
I got Frodo, because I don't have a statue of Frodo in my collection at all. So that's me adding Frodo. I would love Sam if they do one. I would like, because I don't have it, and because it is expensive to track down, I would like a kind of an updated version of Sam and Build a Pony, but I don't
Yep.
think that's something that they can do without kind of stepping on the original one.
Yeah, the old sideshow piece. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think they try to stay away from that. So I'm not sure we'll ever see Sam and Build a Pony again. So I would love to have a Sam in the classic series line.
Sure.
To go with that. So that would be probably my top choice from a classic series perspective.
Well, and that goes back to something we've talked about too before, Josh, which is, the demand for different types of characters. So it seems like the dark side characters, the Saurons and the orcs and so on, have become really popular. And then you've got your traditional heroes with Aragorn or Legolas, or maybe a dash of Gandalf in there. But it sounds like, and you may be able to confirm this, that the Hobbits have not been as big of a sellers.
That has been, and I can't remember if I mentioned this when we were talking with Daniel, when we talked to him or not, but I've been told, actually by both Weta and Sideshow in the past, that the problem for them when they do Hobbit pieces, when I say Hobbit for people watching, I don't mean the movies, I mean the actual character types, is they always tend to sell slower.
Yeah.
Than the others. And so that's why, they are they mixed that, like Merry and Pippin, we mixed them in with Treebeard. You toss them in on a master collection piece. It's such a grandiose, amazing piece. You can sell them easier because it creates a big scene. Whereas, like Frodo's on a classic series statue because he's an open edition piece. They can let him sell as many as they want over the next year or two, or whatever they keep the run going, and they can make some money. So I think that series is probably a really good space to do Hobbits individually. So yeah, my guess is that because of the nature in which they don't sell as fast, is probably a good place to put them.
Yeah, and so Hobbits are hard to put into the hero pose. The bridge over to the Marvel universe and some of their it's the landing and the 3-point spot, and so they don't pose like Legolas poses or Aragorn poses,
right.
And yet that it was Tolkien's bridge. It was, I believe, what popularized Middle Earth is his discovery of hobbits. And so, in contrast to the Silmarillion, sorry guys, we're going into the lore, where it was all elves mostly, and a dash of heroic men. All of a sudden, Tolkien discovered, in a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit, and it became approachable. So there's an aspect of hobbits that is approachable, but not nearly as graphically heroic as the Legolases or the Gimlis even of the world, or the Supermans, or the Iron Mans or the Spider-Mans of whatever it is you're collecting.
Right.
I'm collecting hobbits. I collect hobbits. I like hobbits. But they tend to be overmatched in a battle against Shelob, or they're hiding in the Master's collection underneath the tree roots, while this cool Nazgul kind of looks out and tries to figure out where they are. So that's kind of the nature of it. And if you like that, then that's it floats your collectible boat, as it were. But
well, and I think that, like I said, I think that's why the classic series is a good place, Hobbits, because you can, like I said, you can announce them, let him sell for a couple of years, cut it off, move on. There's plenty of them out there, whatever. Or you can let it run forever. I mean, the old open editions on some of those, the old Sideshow Weta stuff, the further you went on, you had they left them open longer, but as obviously at the beginning ones weren't. But with open editions, you can in theory leave them running for as long as you really want, or they can always bring them back like they did with Minas Tirith. If there's enough of a demand down the road, you can reopen the line back up and do those again. So yeah, that's a good choice. I mean, another and they're not going to do it so quickly because they've done a bunch of Aragorns, it seems like, in somewhat a short period of time. Like we were talking about earlier, I want an updated version of Elisar in his armor, or in that outfit that he had on at the Black Gates. I don't need him on Brago necessarily. I'm fine with not being on the horse, but I would like an updated version in that outfit. He could be getting ready to do the whole for Frodo charge. Would be okay with me. So I'm cool with those for classic series. Any other? I mean, I know. Okay, and Ben mentioned him. How much do we all want to see Denethor on his throne? Is that like, if that's one that would get announced, would that generate a lot of happiness for the group here? I think probably, even if Jim doesn't order him, I think Jim would be happy for the rest of it.
Yep.
As long as he's eating a tomato.
That's right. I think Denethor is a wonderful character. I think he was over simplified. And I really like John Noble's portrayal of him. He was much more nuanced in the book. He illustrates how Tolkien is not writing sort of black and white, good and evil. Denethor is a very nuanced character, and you can absolutely, defend his political motivations, his protection of Gondor, the pits that he fell into because of his fear and his deceptions, his self-deceptions about the nature of the ring. So he's just a wonderful character. We'll see if they turn him into a premier collectible kind of a deal.
Yeah, that's one of those. Okay, so let on that thought, and Ryan, that's an interesting concept there that you mentioned. I actually want to have you expand about that a little bit more on the eating the tomato, because that's one of those scenes for me that actually, for me personally, from Return of the King, I'm just like, I get the semblance of what they're doing there.
I mean, that was kind of more of a joke kind of thing.
I mean, that's interesting.
But it is a thing that everyone knows, right?
Right. Do you think? What do you think people's thoughts would be if they did that? I mean, you do all these videos. You're doing the same types of things we're doing.
It would probably sell. I think, maybe do a limited edition thing to entice it more. Obviously, and then, yeah, I don't say, maybe you could even have, a little hobbit off to
the side, yeah.
About to sing a song or something. It could be made into a piece. That scene is very emotional, right? Like, he's going back and forth between the charge and him eating, and it could work. Maybe it's something they do like kind of on a smaller scale just to test the waters first. Like maybe like in the miniature line or something. They did Eowyn recently, and
right,
like that was a little like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, but sure. And maybe the figures of fandom, there's they're continuing on with that. There's a couple of
the figure of fandom where he's chewing on the tomato and the little juice is one of those like
yeah
flying off.
Yeah, they like to show motion in those pieces, so yeah.
No, that's I like that. I like that idea. I really hadn't seen anybody mention that one before. Ben, do you have a preference? If someone like Ryan and myself, who probably would be for sure buying a Denethor, because I'll leave Jim out because I don't know whether or not Jim would grab that or not, especially with space.
Yeah, there's that.
Do you have a preferred? Do you have a preferred pose, or sequence in the film that you would like to see Denethor, assuming he happened to surprise all of us and show up at Comic-Con?
I mean, it would be interesting to have him on the throne, but I think that with whatever with the Saruman on throne, you
Mhm.
know, 703 pieces or whatever they initially said that sold, seems that there's been extreme issue with
Right.
moving that piece.
Yeah.
And it takes up a lot of space, these big throne pieces, and
Yes, it does. Very tall.
that's a big risk to take a character that's pretty well, I mean, there's not a lot of interest other than us collectors that
Yeah, I think it would be a very limited, small
have
thing.
been waiting for 20 years for this piece. Yeah, it's very limited amount of people. So it'd be risky to make it too big, I think.
I think actually that's a really good point on using the Saruman piece as a comparison, just simply from size, because that the Saruman Gandalf diorama from Sideshow, that thing takes up some space, and that's a smallish throne area compared to the Weta version.
Yeah.
I actually prefer that piece without Gandalf. I actually keep Gandalf off of it because I think it makes a better Saruman piece, but that's just me. I think if you do a Denethor piece, yes, I would love to see the big, have the, the whole sequence behind him, the king's throne and his little, steward seat and stuff. I think what you said right there is the whole reason why, for me, why they won't do it.
So if I was going to do a Denethor piece, it would not be on his throne.
Okay.
On fire, jumping off.
He's standing on the pyre that he's about to light with the lighted torch.
That could work.
Faramir at his feet.
Okay.
Maybe Pippin, maybe Gandalf and Pippin, approaching it in terms of trying to disrupt this whole thing. But that is the ultimate Denethor moment. It's funny because you're talking about how we see, the Denethor in the tomatoes. If you see some of the artistic versions, a big painting of Minas Tirith and the siege of Minas Tirith, often they will put this little tiny flaming dot somewhere on that painting, as they say, and that's Denethor, who is on his way down to his demise after he's jumped over, which is an interesting little study in physics in itself. But so if I had to pick that quintessential Denethor theme that really focuses on him as a character, it would be him standing on that pyre, about to light himself afire with Faramir at his feet.
I think that, man, okay, this is why I like brainstorming ideas, because I get, you get used to your own thoughts and what you want to see and stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I love brainstorming episodes like this, where we're just talking and shooting a breeze. So I think this is great. I like that idea a lot, actually. I would probably say they would probably keep it to just like him standing on the pyre, maybe not Faramir on there.
That would be a simpler piece. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean, shoot, like, they haven't done him any other way for 20 years. So I have a feeling it's going to be one of those pieces when we do get him, it's going to have to be something simple, because they haven't done him for 20 years. I mean, I would like something a little more grandiose. I think he deserves that as a character. I love that idea. I really, despite not necessarily loving the tomato scene, and I know you said he was kind of joking, but I think that's a really good idea. Sitting at the table, eating, you could do that without. I mean, so no, those are really great ideas. Weta, if you're watching this, we have a couple of really good ideas besides just the sitting on the steward's throne, holding, the broken horn, which is always the classic one I think everybody kind of goes to for Denethor. So that's an interesting. I like that. That's good ideas coming out of this one. I like that a lot.
Maybe something from the unreleased scene with Boromir.
Oh yeah, Osceola. So yeah. Boromir and Faramir. That's another option.
I don't know what you could do with it, but
yeah,
something.
It's that's another good idea too. I really like those two. Really like those two ideas a lot, actually. I'm not kidding. Man, I really just hope they do him at some point. Just one of those characters that
I really would love if they would do it, but I feel like maybe Weta is focusing on big money makers lately.
Understandably, yeah.
Like, they just released another Balrog. I again, it's something that like would be awesome, and it probably it would be on a want list for all of us, but for the masses, as much as I love Denethor,
Yeah.
people think of the Lord of the Rings, Denethor probably doesn't come to mind.
And I think that's the same problem, even though they're the hobbits, even though you think of, I think that's kind of the same thing that the hobbits run into, and why maybe Denethor ends up as a classic. He's either going to do, to me, and you guys can tell me if you think I'm off base by a mile or not. Denethor's either going to be a very limited run type piece.
Yeah.
Either at a table, 300 pieces, 400 pieces, something like that. I don't think he's going to be a 2-week window piece. Or he's going to be in the classic series. He's either going to be super limited, or he's going to be in the classic series where they can let that pre-order run for 2 years, sell as many Denethors as possible, and move on. So I don't know. Do you guys? I may be nuts. I don't. You guys can tell.
I mean, it could go in the classic series, but I feel like there would be probably 10 other characters that would come before him.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I think you're right, Ryan. I mean, that's the question. Is and it's rooted in who will sell. Where is the popular demand? Is Denethor at the top of the list, or are there 10 others in front of him? And then it goes back to what Josh was saying, that who has been done versus who has not been done, and is there who do you favor? Another Balrog, or find somebody new to represent.
Yeah, I don't see any other companies either doing it. It would definitely have to be Weta, because Weta's the only one who would do a character like that. So
yeah, I don't. Maybe Diamond Select might do a Denethor action figure at some point. Maybe if they got deep enough into their stuff, because with the figure prices being $30, they might. But yeah, Prime One's not going to do a Denethor.
So there's the question for you, group. Who has not been done that you would buy? Who's at the top of your list that I wish they would? Somebody, whether it's Weta or somebody. Is it like? What about a Beorn? I know that's a Hobbit, but wouldn't that be cool? As an example, or is there somebody that has not been done?
Gentlemen,
maybe like the Prancing Pony Gatekeeper.
Oh yeah, okay. Or Barnum and Butterbur. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a really good question.
Ben, you got something for me? I know you got something for me.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a Hobbit piece, but I mean, I would like to see the Goblin King.
Ooh,
yep.
Yeah, if I was
there's a custom one that was made, but I would love to see Weta do it, because it's such a wild piece. He's ugly. That's probably why.
Really interesting character, that's for sure.
Yep.
He's cool.
Yeah, if I was gonna go Hobbit, for sure, Goblin King. Now, here's a question for you to go with that: scribe or no scribe?
Companion too. Yeah.
Scribe is definitely needed to go with him.
Yeah, I feel like
he's a cool grace note to the Goblin King. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a really, actually, Jim, that's a good question, because I think if I'm Hobbit, yes, the Goblin King would probably be number one. Beorn, I mean, if you do him as a bear, I mean, you have to be careful because he just looks like a bear. The design of the character in general, I'm indifferent about as far as that goes. So I don't know that I would grab him. Goblin King would definitely be. That's probably the one piece from The Hobbit that I would buy at this point. That for sure would buy. From Lord of the Rings. Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, I'm gonna probably, even though I would love to have Denethor, I really would like a Theoden on Snowmane.
Yeah.
I think that's probably number one, of characters that haven't been done by Weta since they brought the line back themselves.
Yeah.
Denethor would definitely be in the top 2 or 3. simply because, if nothing else, he's never been done. Period. I mean, we're not. I mean, for those watching this that be familiar with the Sideshow Weta line, I mean, he's never been done. Period. End of story. It's not. It's not even like, oh, he. I mean, I think somebody did a custom bust of him, but licensed pieces, you know, he's never been done. So I think I think Denethor definitely would be on that short list. But it's really hard to start coming up with characters that haven't been done, at least in the 20 plus years that they've been doing statues. I mean, we've had a number of Aragorns, and you know, as a fan of Aragorn, I've mentioned a few choices that I would like. My self-proclaimed love of the Balrog, you guys are probably all aware of that, so I'm always down for more Balrog, but he's been done a few times now. Yeah, Cave Troll's been done. They've gone back and done him. So yeah, I mean, that's a good. There aren't many that haven't been done. Period. So I would like to see those two, just because one, Theoden's never been on a horse, and Denethor has never been done. Period. So those are probably two. I think Pippin obviously needs to be done, because I mean,
I was just gonna say the hobbits need a new.
Yeah.
The sideshow Merry and Pippin.
Life, yeah.
Never a big
I mean,
fan of.
Ben's got the in his video, for those of you that haven't gone to his YouTube channel, he's got that prototype Pippin that never got produced. That, you know, but I mean, the Pippin from Sideshow Weta, if the face didn't look like he was scared out of his mind, would be a really nice piece. But realistically, only Sam out of all of those was done, I think, really, really well in the original Sideshow Weta line. Frodo's face sculpt is kind of lacking. Obviously, Pippin, and then Merry was kind of as well, I think. My personal, I mean, they're still good statues. I still have had all of them, but I definitely would like to see them redone. Pippin, because I think he deserves better than just being scared. But yeah, those would be up there for sure.
Maybe like an Arwen and Aragorn, like
on the bridge or something. Yeah.
Kind of. I don't really think there have been that many Arwens.
No,
you have the Sideshow Weta piece. You have the Horse Rider piece, but that's it.
Yeah, that Arwen and Aragorn on the bridge in Rivendell is a very romantic piece. So
yeah,
it may not apply, you know.
Do them at his coronation before they go do the "You Bow to No One," where he's in armor, to kind of spice it up a little bit, so to speak. Yeah, that's another character that they could do for sure. I don't that they could throw in eventually, but yeah, Theoden on Snowmane is probably my one, so that's why he's my pick for if we're getting a premium piece at Comic-Con. That's why he's my pick.
Yeah, I can already see the armor in my head.
For Theoden, or for Eric, yeah, that armor's pretty slick. Hopefully, it's a little more successful getting it out to the public than the Sideshow Weta one was, because that was a Where's Waldo version of finding one where the armor wasn't messed up in shipping. Because of, well, yeah, I mean, I think everybody's aware, you know, like the gold leaf stuff that they used in it. So many of those got messed up in shipping, or that didn't stick very well, and had some that didn't have it stick, you know. And I knew a guy that he before people were having him check, and so he would check, and he would make sure that if there was a bad one, they didn't get one. So he did a really good job of making sure, like, people like myself got one that didn't have messed up armor. But so hopefully that'll work. Mini epics, minis. We know that, and I'll bring the Balrog up here in just a second that we were talking about, so people can see that. Is there do you
about like a Gothmog?
For like a full statue or like a mini?
Like a classic series, maybe. Like,
yeah, I was about to go to those. You know, what about the orcs or the dark side? characters. So you got Gothmog, you've got the guy with the skull thing on his head.
Oh, the work lieutenant? That'd be cool.
I forget his name.
Scully or whatever I think is what he lovingly was called by people, because he doesn't actually have. I don't know. Does he even have a name?
I think it's Guritz or
Oh
something.
yeah, Guritz. Yeah.
Yeah.
See that.
That would be cool. Yeah, that's another, and that's one that again I think that they could do either as a classic series or maybe like a really limited piece that would generate some interest. Wasn't Yasnig pretty limited in the Hobbit line? I mean, as far as orcs and stuff go, he was pretty limited.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Hobbit line wasn't as popular as Lord of the Rings and everything, but a Scully kind of reminds me of the newborn Uruk-hai that they made very limited back in the day, type of situation. So that's a good choice. Gothmog, good choice because we have a Gothmog on Warg. I like that. That's a good idea. Any type are some of these, are any characters that you think might be good on some of these off the wall characters? Maybe do them in minis versus maybe doing them. If we get a mini at Comic-Con, you think maybe any of these guys might be fit to do like a mini to, like you said, test the waters and see if there's interest.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe like another like Grishnak.
Ooh.
How do you say his name? Grishnak?
Yep. Off the wall characters.
Do you guys delve into the minis much at all?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think I have most of the recent ones. I definitely was down for the Fell Beast as well as Balrog. Those were.
And the Fell Beast is another one of those I kind of want to track down, and this goes into the price of things and stuff that we can get into here in a minute.
Iron Studios Fell Beast.
That I want to get that mini Fell Beast because it looks like it's probably pretty good size for a mini, but when you're throwing $700 for Gil-galad, you kind of, it's like, well, I'll come back to you in a little bit. So mini epics, do we do mini epics at all? I mean, as outside of like the Comic-Con exclusives?
Sure, yeah, I have my Fellowship of Mini Epics up there.
I've got a few. I usually just grab the Comic-Con exclusive, and I know we will be I don't remember if Justin actually said it out loud, so I don't want to say it on this without spilling it, but just I do know what the mini epic is.
At Comic-Con?
The Comic-Con one, yeah.
Not allowed to spill it. Spill it.
I don't know if he can't remember if he said it out loud on the show or not. I think he did. I think it's Frodo.
Yeah.
The Frodo piece. And it's dealing with ironically, it's dealing with the Shelob and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it's dealing like there's
Yeah.
like he's not fighting anybody because obviously it's just they're little, but it's dealing with that sequence. So
There's my mini epic shelf up there.
you'll be able to add one, and we're selling it at our booth. We're getting a few of those to do to sell. What is helping, and then I think Diamond Select is another place that you can get those. So and then obviously the website. There'll be some up for that. Yeah, the mini epics I like. I usually just, like I said, grab the Comic-Con exclusives. They do crazy ones every once in a while, like the Balrog or Sauron.
They had the frightening Bilbo one year.
Yes. Yeah, I grabbed that one. Yeah, the Gandalf the White with the special.
Yeah.
With the variant.
Yep.
Well, let me
The gold Gandalf was the first one mini epic from San Diego Comic-Con, right?
True.
And those things sell for like $500 now.
Oh, do they really? Holy cow.
Crazy. Yeah.
They're very, very hard to get now. And when they go up, they sell immediately.
Dang. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully you guys can see this. So this is for those watching here, this is the classic series Balrog that we were talking about earlier. Another line.
Miniature Balrog.
Yeah, it just came out. This is a miniature one, right?
Yeah. This is the miniature one that they announced just in like the last week.
Yeah.
So really cool. I like it a lot.
A semi-affordable Balrog.
Yeah, he's I think 170.
Yeah.
And then this is, we kind of talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
See if I can, there we go. Come in just a little bit on him. Obviously, Gil Galad was announced just recently. Got a 2-week pre-order window. I think that closes middle of next week. Closes off ends the Battle of the Last Alliance that we know of as of right now. Although they could do a Numenorian soldier, and that would be really, really awesome too. That's another want of mine. Really nice looking piece. Figure we'll get into a bit of a debate on that for a sec on some aspects of this. The things that kind of irked people or got people talking on the message boards and the interwebs. He came in at $700 or $699. We'll call him $7. And talked to the folks at Weta. Specifically, I talked to Leonard Ellis and asked him about the shield. And this is the only picture I say for anybody watching, so I don't have all the angles. I'm sorry. You can go look at the website. The shield has a brown tip on the end of it. And apparently the models that they based off of, they had some models that had the completely regular metal end that we've seen on the shield, where the tip at the bottom is not, but it appears that the shield protector on the bottom that they had on the props actually got sculpted on the actual statue. And so there's a chance apparently that it may be on the final piece. I wasn't told one way or the other whether it would or wouldn't be. So those are the couple of things with this one. For me personally, with the price, like I talked about earlier with kind of like with the master collection pieces, yeah, 700 is a lot of money, but I went ahead and to me it was worth it because, one, as Jim said, collecting the entire scene. This is a character that's never been done in statue form. All we have is the bust. It looks really well done. It completes that sequence in the film, basically, unless we get a Numenorian soldier. And it to me, it's just super, super well done in general. So the price to me was, I don't want to say indifferent, but it was one of those, I was willing to pay it because of those factors.
Yeah, it's worth it to you.
Yeah. And then the shield protector on the end of it, honestly, if there hadn't been some investigation done on it, I wouldn't have done anything more than chalk it up to it just being a situation where the props had, one prop was done one way, one prop was done another way, and it just ended up that way. So how do you guys, as far as like $700 for a 6 scale piece, where do you guys come in on that particular the particular landing strip?
I only did it because I got Weta dollars saved up for it.
Okay.
I knew it was coming. I particularly don't, I guess maybe the shield is what's being the extra thing when you compare it to Elendil.
Huh.
Like I don't know if it's $150 worth, because the Elendil is $550.
Right.
So the little the little tiny shield on the bottom of it as well. The orc shield, like, that's a nice little bonus. It is taller, like the base, than Elendil's, but maybe not that much. I don't know. I got it because it goes great with Elendil, and it's seeing that video that they posted that had all 3 of them together. I was like, man, like.
Ryan, do you have the Sauron as well?
I do not. I have the Prime 1 Studio Sauron, so I already have a big Sauron, so that's why I never got it. But seeing them all 3 together made me immediately be like, man, do I need another Sauron now? Like,
No.
I'm just like in my head. I have, you guys know that the guy Andy Me. You've been. I know you have a lot of his pieces. Someone needs to make the giant round base that you put all three of the statues in.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Diorama, and that would be like done. Like I would, if that existed, I would go for it immediately.
Yeah, sure.
All the pieces required for it. Like,
That's cool. That would be cool.
Yeah, I love it. I love Elendil. I think his face is like the best what it's done. I'm not sure if Gil-galad is as good. I mean, I feel like it's Mark Ferguson is the actor's name, I believe.
Yeah.
And it looks like him to me. But
did you like the way the portrait looked in the video versus the pictures? Because I think to me, I thought the video made the portrait look a little bit better. You saw a little bit better clarity of it than say the pictures for some reason. Oh, Ben, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I think 700 is we're pushing the into like quarter scale pricing here.
Okay.
Yep. That's wasn't I think Lert's the 1/4 scale from Prime 1 was like 750.
Exactly. So I think it's this risky thing to do. I mean, I don't know. I mean, everything's getting more expensive, but 700. You add the shipping, you're looking at 750. That's if you don't pay tax on it.
For me, sorry Ben, I gotta be better about not cutting people off. For people, they're yelling at me again. Actually, for me, what you're talking about right there with like the shipping and stuff, the killer for me on this piece that nobody's mentioned that at least that I've not seen on like on the message board is the NRD that you had to put down on it. It was 25%. It was $232 for the deposit. That to me was the part I'm going like, ooh, boys and girls, the deposit that I put down on it was more than what we were just talking about with the classic series Balrog, or not the mini Balrog. I'm sorry. It was like that to me is what hurts. It's like I fully support NRDs for these companies because over the years I've seen too many people just order, and then cancel, drive up the edition size, and then stock is left and whatever. But I thought, to me, if I had that would be the one thing I would tell Weta. I'm like, I get it. Hey, if you charge $700, I'm either willing to pay it or I'm not. But on the non-refundable deposit, $232 is a good chunk. You're talking basically a third of basically $700 statues. So yeah, I would that to me was the killer part that I haven't seen anybody talk about. What do you guys think about the tip, the shield cover being sculpted on the piece? Is that something that
quite honest, I didn't care at all. Yeah. I know there's a lot of people who were like, man, the shield's too small.
Yeah.
I honestly, it didn't even like, he's shown for what, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, something like that. I mean, I guess, if you're going to pay $700, then it needs to be right. Like, it does. But at the same time, like, it didn't bother me enough to be like, I'm not getting it. Like, it was an instant thing for me. Granted, I had Weta dollars saved up, so I knew it was coming, and that's what helped me out. But yeah, it doesn't bother me.
I just want a 1-to-1 version of his spear. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Did you talk about doing that at one time?
I haven't heard anything of it.
I kind of thought maybe at one point there had been a rumor that they had talked about it. Now I will say the guy I know at UC that I talk to all the time has never said anything to me privately, but I thought at one point I had saw a rumor that they were talking about doing that. Ben, does the shield bother you at all? You kind of like the rest of us, like it's really it's there, but it's an issue, but it's not an issue type thing.
Yeah, the shield. I mean, it doesn't affect my want or not want to purchase it. But I think, like, when you were speaking about the non-refundable deposit, I think that they had to, or they did this because of what happened with Smog and some of these other pieces where when they released the shipping price, it was so egregious to a lot of collectors that they immediately canceled their orders.
Well,
You know?
that's true. Yeah,
It was
that's true.
like
And I didn't think about
$400 or something like that. Like,
Yeah, I mean, Smog was 400. I mean, that's and when you could get it from these other retailers in America, at least if you're in the United States, for free shipping. I mean, it's pretty wild. I mean, so a lot of people are canceling. So I think that's probably why you're seeing these larger increases on the non-refundable.
Yeah, because it was 20. I mean, it was actually 25%. I know I said a third a minute ago. I was just being generic on my number for anybody watching. But was it 25? Did it go up to 25%? Is that new for this one?
I believe it was 15 prior.
I don't know
Okay,
about
that's what I thought when I ordered this one. I'm like 25%. I'm like, and I looked at I'm not kidding for anybody, I looked at the NRD number on it and I go, did I click something else why is it $232? I mean, it really, that really caught me. That did actually catch me off guard. As far as this particular piece, that's, like I said, for me, that's the one thing that kind of actually was sour taste as far as this particular piece goes. And I'm usually pretty easygoing when it comes to, like I put on the message board, when it comes to a price, I'm either going to pay it or I'm not. And I've told my friends at Weta that before. I'm like, you guys put a price on it, I'm either going to buy it or I'm not going to buy it. I understand why the prices are the way that they are, but I'm either going to buy it or I'm not going to buy it. And especially when space is becoming an issue. Okay, let's any other closing thoughts on Comic-Con and Weta and what we might want to see from their expo?
I'm hoping they announce some new figures of fandom.
Okay, any characters in particular that you want to see?
Not really. I mean, Gimli just shipped. I just got the shipping notification for that this week. So we now have Gimli and Aragorn. So let's do Legolas.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably something you could see for sure. They like to throw a few of those out there. Ben, is there anything at Comic-Con you want to see that we didn't talk about, at least Lord of the Rings wise?
Like Weta specific?
Yeah.
No, I think those are pretty much all my wishes from that we haven't seen yet.
And do you guys collect anything outside of Weta for anybody watching that might not know? Like, do you, as far as like licenses like DC or Marvel, or do you guys do any of the superhero stuff? Is there anything from any new licenses? Because they did mention that in their newsletter. Is there a license that you hope maybe they're going to announce and do something from?
As much as it's been done, there are so many companies nowadays that are doing Lord of the Rings stuff. There are very few. I know this is like whatever, but there are very few that are actually doing Star Wars. I would love a like big quarter scale like Darth Vader or something. There probably are some, but like not like statues. They're like there's like Hot Toys has a Darth Vader. I know that's not 1/4 scale, but there aren't really, I feel like, that many companies doing Star Wars statues. I know Sideshow has like their Mythos line, and those are really, really cool looking, but they're not totally lore accurate, I guess. So I would like, I mean, as much as it's been done, more Star Wars statues, big Star Wars statues. There's tons of Hot Toys. There's tons of action figures of them, and I feel like maybe Sideshow is really the only one. It's probably a big one I just can't think of. But
Gentle Giant does a lot of Star Wars. They do it. That's kind of their focus, but not.
I just like a really high quality like Vader.
Okay,
that's what I would love.
Nice. Okay. Ben, is there a license that Weta might be unveiling that might tempt you to dip your toe outside of Middle Earth?
Oh man, now I'm in trouble enough with my Middle Earth faith.
Maybe more stuff from the Labyrinth.
Yeah, those are cool.
I've got Hoggle and Ludo on pre-order.
I would think they might announce something. I mean, that's kind of a license that they already have. But I could see them announcing something like that. I'm expecting them to announce something from Avatar from this most
Yeah.
recent.
That's probably
That would be my guess because I mean, there's a Weta obviously did a lot of work on that, and so I'm kind of expecting Avatar. Another company that does Lord of the Rings stuff that we can talk about for a moment or two. Little company called Diamond Select Toys. They do obviously they have their, and I didn't put them on here because they were at Comic-Con last year. The Boromir and the Lurt set are up for pre-order. So you have those out there. I do know that they will be announcing 2 new figures coming up. I've talked to my contact at Diamond Select that will be at Comic-Con to show. He's going to send me specifically, but the OneRing.net pictures to be the first ones to show them off. I will tell you, one of them is a member of the Fellowship if you collect those figures from Diamond Select, and I think Jim will be pleased with the choice. So I think he'll be liking that very much. They're also doing these little mini statues, and according to the site, it looks like he's about 12 inches tall. I don't know if you guys do Iron Studios at all or not. This kind of looks like it's in that same vein, but might be a little bit taller. Is this something that you guys would get into? Do you guys like this style? Not like the style of it?
I like it. It's just one of those things that like I know if I get with one that I'm gonna want all of them in that series, and I'm kind of committed to so many series already. I'm kind of just holding back on Iron Studios at the moment. There is the Cave Troll, I guess. Is that the Iron Studios?
Yeah, Iron Studios has the Cave Troll.
That's one of the cooler Cave Trolls behind the official Weta one, but yeah, that's I never really got into Iron Studios, and simply for the reason, not that I didn't like them, but just too many things to collect. I have so many other things going on. So.
Well, and I mean, just being honest, I mean, is like Osmus has been pretty good about sending me things to review. Diamond Select's been pretty good about sending me some things to review. But if it wasn't for them doing that, and I thank them, all the time in emails when they do, but I'll thank them here now too. I couldn't. That's the same reason. I mean, it's just space and money and everything. It's like I can't. But yeah, I'm tempted to get the Aragorn. I don't know whether or not Diamond will send it.
I think I saw one of the ring wraiths recently.
Okay,
I see that correctly. He's like on a horse.
Yeah, who was doing that?
I forget where I saw that. One second, I can find it. But I thought it was really well done. I was like, oh wow, look at that! Like,
you kind of dabble in other lines besides just like Weta and Prime One. Is Diamond Select doing stuff that you collect? Have you gotten into any of their stuff, or are you having to kind of like the rest of us? Like, there's got to be a line somewhere.
Yeah, I've never purchased any of their stuff, but I mean, I'd love to see it, like in person, but I might have to order one to check it out myself.
Well, and I always think of, and I think I've mentioned this to you before. I always think about you when I get their action figures, because I know obviously you started with the Toy Biz stuff, and so
yeah,
their action figures are pretty neat. If you ever decided to dabble in that again, do you even have any of your old Toy Biz stuff? By the way, I don't know if I've ever asked you that before.
I've almost reacquired the whole collection.
Nice.
But I don't have it here. It's too big. I have it in another location, but it's over 200 pieces.
Nice.
So like, I mean, I don't know why I did it, but
no, I get it. I understand.
But it's it's so there. You get into these lines and you get going, and I mean that collection will take up a lot of room if I ever get to display it, like half as much as this room that I got now.
Are you going to have more room in your new museum?
I don't. That's something me and my wife are still in discussion about.
I wondered about that. I don't want to. I'm not gonna go like putting your business out there, but I worded it that way on purpose.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time to get everything addressed, but I mean, I probably have like at least a third or so, more items than everything that's been coming in recently. I haven't even displayed it
right.
because of I have the Queen Studio Balrog head and bunch of other interesting stuff that would be fun to display, but I don't want to get it out, put all the work into hanging it, put all the stuff, and then move it. So there's been a lot of stuff that has kind of just been sitting in boxes, which kind of sucks when you just collect it to keep it in the box.
Yeah, that's when, and that would be the thing with when I definitely, I mean, space is already becoming an issue as we've kind of mentioned, but yeah, if you just start keeping them in boxes, unless you're waiting to, whether or not you're moving, or if you're building a house and you don't want to just open stuff because there's no point, you're just going to box it right back up. I can't imagine having all these awesome things and not being able to display them. That would really be a killer. A couple bits of information too. I guess it's 9 o'clock. We've been going for about 90 minutes. We may have lost Jim too, by the way. The War of the Rohirrim, I think, may have a panel. Depending on how Comic-Con goes. So hopefully we'll have some news on the site for that, and maybe Weta might get into maybe doing some collectibles for that, which would be interesting considering it's an anime film. So I'll be curious to see, what they do with that. So that'll be kind of interesting. I definitely will make sure to report back on what is said at the Weta Comic Con panel and anything that they mentioned there, and let you guys know and let the people watching this know what goodies we got told as far as that goes. But yeah, Comic Con's going to be interesting, as I said at the beginning, with the writer strike and the potential actor strike. So that's an interesting change. Hopefully, Weta and Sideshow in the future come back, because with them holding kind of everything to these events, and then doing them online, it makes in some ways kind of some of the coverage stuff a little different, because all we can do is speculate, and I don't get to speculate and then like cover it in real time. So that changes that for me. But okay, so I guess as we close out, I'll get some final thoughts on this kind of all-encompassing Comic-Con episode for us. Start with Ryan. What? Just one more time. Give me your top choice for Master Collection, Premium, a Classic Series, and let's do actually let's do 5 things. A regular statue, and a Figures of Fandom, since you brought Figures of Fandom up. That kind of threw me off earlier. That was a good one.
Okay. All right, Masters Collection. Like I said, I really want the U-Bow to No One scene.
Okay.
You guys are probably more correct that it would probably be something with Mount Doom. So I guess I in my head I want LSR. That's in my head. But if Master Collection was the Mount Doom scene, then I totally would go for it. Premium Collection, I guess you guys have kind of sold me on Theoden, but I to be quite honest, like there are so many things that like I feel like I missed in the Sideshow series.
Okay.
Like I wish like they've already done the Gandalf the White like on Shadowfax, but like to me that would be great to get. I know I have like 3 already Gandalf the White things, but it's one of those things that there are a lot of earlier pieces that they've made that I wish they could revisit now that they do things digitally. Or I mean, maybe they're not doing everything fully digitally, but it definitely is a bigger role in what they're doing. Figures of fandom, more of the Hobbits and more of the Fellowship. Same thing with the miniature line. I feel like they need to make all 9 of the members of the Fellowship standing in the same, standing pose so you can display them all together. What else did you say? Classic series. Legolas is my big thing for a classic series. I would love a Legolas.
Okay, Ben, what you got for me?
I mean, I know it's, I'm going to stick with Shelob. I can't back off that. I mean, if we don't see that soon, I'm never going to stop bringing it up till we see it. And the premium series, I mean, I really hope we get Theoden on Snowmane. I think that it's time, and this is probably the best time we could, expect to see something like that. So then I guess what the next one would be, just a regular release?
Yeah, regular release, classic series.
I would say, I mean, I'll just say regular Denethor. I mean, I'm just gonna hope for that. Even if he's just by himself. I mean, just so we got some. I really doubt there'll be a chance, to bring him up if things slow down. I'm assuming after this year, we're not going to see anything like this.
Right.
I think we're going to see maybe like we did prior to this, like 1 or 2 releases and then maybe a master collection. So it would be difficult to find the motivation to push if you're only releasing 1 a year to get a Denethor. So.
Yeah, there are so many companies doing it nowadays too.
But you're starting to see a big slowdowns. I mean, Queen Studio essentially said they were on pause. Infinity just released that Gimli, and the edition size is 250. So things are going to start slowing down, I think, with the economy, but also just the oversaturation. Like, there's been a lot in recent years. I mean, it's wild how crazy the last 3 years have been for us collectors.
The 21st anniversary doesn't sell as well as the 20th anniversary, right? So.
Right. I mean, but then everyone that came in, like, I mean, Weta was like on its own, and then the last couple of years we've just seen, massive amounts of product, different scales.
And the thing too is we're talking about the anniversary, and that you got to remember we're on the 20th anniversary of Return of the King. We're on the 22nd of Fellowship of the Ring. We're only 3 years away from hitting the 25th, starting the cycle of 25th anniversaries. So
almost the 20th year of The Hobbit, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So yeah, I think you could see an adjustment. I definitely think you could see an adjustment for sure to kind of pause ideas a little bit, maybe. Jim, you got anything that your guesses?
Well, I'm sticking with my Cracks of Doom for, but I'll take anything, and I think that the track of following the core storyline of Frodo and Sam in the ring and so on is likely to continue, and I'll probably end up having to buy the next one.
Ben, did you have a class? I didn't ask you a classic series. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I mean, the classic series. I mean, I'll stick with. I'll buddy up with the CyberHobbit, and I'll go with Legolas too.
Okay.
It's a good. I mean, he'd be a great choice.
The sideshow Legolas. I kind of. It's one of my worst pieces, I think. Not that I own it. I just the pictures online that I see.
From where he's got the swirling cape and the daggers and stuff and everything.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking. Hold on. I forget the exact.
Like the original Sideshow Weta one.
Yeah.
That I still have mine.
Sure, at the time it was great.
For itty bitty kitties
compared to,
and they chewed the bow and chewed the string off. It was
no.
when I first got it, and so I've never gotten rid of it. I actually still have that one, and yes, it is a great looking elf. Daniel Falconer, I think Daniel sculpted that. Did a great job of sculpting a great elf, and from like concept art. But if as far as looking like Orlando Bloom, obviously it's it's a little coming up short on that one as far as actor likenesses go. Jim, you got any other guesses? You all about just Sam and Frodo?
Yeah, Sam, and I've said, I don't care what series we come out as, but I'd be all over Rosie if they ever made her, but they won't. If they do Theoden on Snowmane, that's problematic for me because that's another completist thing. I've got most of the horses, whether it's Sideshow or Weta's versions of them, so that would be a problem. But that would be fun. But yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, that guy's cool.
Didn't think it was going to be this loud. Sorry.
It's okay. I got one of mine. Surprised he hasn't been making noises in here. He's hanging out.
He's been sitting in the floor staring at me for the past like 15 minutes. Like, when are we gonna go pee?
Mine's asleep. He's like, this is nonsense. Why are we taking so damn long? I won't guess the Master Collection, but I'll say for me the premium piece that I think we finally get. I think we finally get Theoden on Snowmane. I just think that's the choice. Figures of fandom. I like the Legolas idea. I think that would be cool. I think you could see something like that, or you're going to see like a generic orc or something where they can get some motion into it and get those cool plastic things that come off the characters. I think you get something like that. Classic series. I want to see Sam. I really do, to go with the Frodo that was announced recently. I just don't know if the Master Collection follows the path that we've seen. If you would get to, if you would get two pieces in the same con with Sam as part of them. Yeah. That's the dilemma that I have in my guess there. If it's not Sam as the classic series, I don't know. I really don't. I mean, obviously an Aragorn. I don't know. I'll have to sit and think about that one. Maybe I'll put it in the comments on the video if I come up with a better guess than Sam. But I really want Sam, or maybe one of the other hobbits would be cool. Just to start getting more of them out there. So I'll take any of the hobbits. For a regular release, obviously I would love Denethor. I think that's a good. I think that would be cool. I would love a Numenorian soldier as a surprise release. That would be cool for me. I really like that bust, so I would like to see that armor. I'm a big fan of Gondor and Numenor and that whole history of Middle Earth. So that would be cool. Those are my guesses for that. Like I said, I know there's 2 action figures coming from Diamond Select. For anybody watching this, I will tell you one of them is a member of the Fellowship. I believe Jim probably will purchase this one. When it is shown, we're going to be we're lucky enough that Diamond Select decided to team up with us, and we're going to be showing that off. I don't know if it'll be before Comic-Con or not. I think it'll be before Comic-Con because they want to get the pictures out there, I think. And then hopefully maybe we'll get another statue from Diamond Select. I think that would be kind of cool to see. Iron Studios, who knows what they're going to throw out there. And then, to be honest with you, Ben was talking about with things slowing down, they've delayed a bunch of stuff over the last 6 months or to a year, where things are getting delayed like 6-month chunks and stuff. So I know like last year they had Sauron, I think, was at Comic-Con in their little booth. I know they have a booth this year. So Comic-Con's going to be weird. Again, kind of even more so with no physical booth for Sideshow and no physical booth for Weta. I'm still debating on whether or not I'm going to take my camera with me or not, since that's a lot to lug to Comic-Con if there's not a lot to take pictures of, because I usually just take pictures of the Middle Earth stuff and move on. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do. But that's all of our guesses for our kind of all-encompassing. We shot the breeze about a lot of stuff, not just Comic-Con 2023 episode. We as always thank you for all the support for the OneRing.net, for the website, for the YouTube channel for the OneRing.net, for this channel for Collecting the Precious, all the 20 years of support. Oh yeah, we didn't. I say the Wizard, the Magic Gathering box. We didn't even talk about Wizard, the Wizard cards, the Magic the Gathering cards. Shoot, I guess we'll show that off real quick. We'll show that off before we go. I'll stop my outro.
Oh.
We need to steal some of Torn Tuesday's thunder and talk about that sometime. Maybe we'll do that before I go back to school. But just thank you for the support and everything. Make sure you check out Ryan's YouTube channel. I'll make sure I link it underneath. Make sure you check out Ben's YouTube channel. They're really, really good people. I thank them for coming on here. Hopefully they both will be willing to come back and join us and put up with me and how much I sit here and yak, probably way more than I should. So I
there are very few people in my life I can yak with this about. So
well, like I told Ben, and yes, this will make the video too because I'm still recording. But like I told Ben in a message, I enjoy doing this kind of thing because it's fun to sit and talk with friends about and kind of BS about this kind of stuff. So I know for those of you who are watching, you guys have yelled at me in the comments, don't cut them off so much. I'm trying. I'm a school teacher. I'm used to just talking and talking and talking. So sometimes I have to learn to shut up. But I appreciate them coming on. Please support them and what they're doing. Continue to support us because, we want to make sure people continue to pay attention to what's going on in Middle Earth. It's how we're going to get, more video games. Hopefully they're better than apparently that Gollum game was. More stuff like Magic the Gathering, doing cards. We just want more. We want to make sure it stays in the public eye as much as possible because there's nothing better than Middle Earth. There's just so many good things that come out of this: the friends, the fellowship, the collectibles, the movies, all of that. So
maybe new movies on the horizon.
Maybe some new movies. They did hint about that. So I'm cool with that.
Seen word that they want Peter Jackson back. So
yeah, I'm game with that. For anybody, if Amazon or anybody from associated with them, hey,
yeah, that's a whole area that we haven't explored because we're still waiting on the Rings of Power collectibles if they ever start up with those things again.
Yeah, delve into that. You're missing out. You've got you've heard us. If anybody from Amazon catches on to this at any point, it comes across your desk. We've all heard us. We have limited budgets, limited space. You better jump in now because at some point you're going to miss the train, and it is what it is. So make sure as always that you guys catch me on this when I'm doing that. I always have to stop the recording. So again, just thank you for the support. Till next time, guys.